The year was 5029. The galaxy was tired. For 1,000 years, countless races had fought for control: humans, aliens, machines, and hybrids. Every planet had scars from wars no one even remembered how they started. The stars themselves seemed colder now, as if they had watched too much blood spilled in their light. But peace was coming. Or at least, that was what they said. In the middle of this broken galaxy, on a forgotten space station called Haven 9, something strange was happening. The place was supposed to be abandoned, drifting near the dark edge of the Orion Belt. No trade ships came there, no patrols. Yet one night, faint lights came alive inside the station's control room. A figure in a dark suit stood in front of the main console. His name was Commander Eric Vale, one of the last surviving officers of the old human fleet. His eyes were tired but sharp, filled with the kind of calm that only comes after seeing too much death. The console flickered and a hologram appeared, a map of the galaxy filled with red marks. "1,000 years," he whispered, his voice echoing softly in the empty room. "And we still fight over dust." He tapped a code into the console. One by one, the red marks turned white. Each white mark showed a planet where humans still lived, scattered, broken, surviving. Some lived under alien rule. Some lived in hiding. Others fought in small resistance groups, dreaming of a united Earth that no longer existed. But tonight, Eric was not just remembering the past. He was calling them back. Far across the galaxy, hidden transmitters came alive. A secret message was sent through old human communication channels, frequencies that no one used anymore. The message was short. "To all who still remember Earth, come home." On a mining moon called Irion 3, a woman named Lyra heard the signal through a broken radio. She was a former pilot, now working as a mechanic. Her hands froze as the message repeated again and again. Her eyes filled with tears. "Come home," she whispered. "After all this time." On a desert world, an old war robot powered up for the first time in 2 centuries. The message had reached even the forgotten machines. Its single blue eye glowed brighter as it repeated the words, "Come home." No one knew who sent it. But all of them felt the same thing, something waking up inside them. Hope. Back on Haven 9, Eric watched the map as faint white lights started to appear, small signals responding from across the galaxy. Each one meant someone had heard the call. "They still remember," he said quietly. "After everything." But Eric was not alone on the station. Deep inside the lower decks, another presence moved in the dark. The lights flickered as something mechanical crawled through the vents, watching. Its sensors tracked Eric's movements, recording his voice. Somewhere far away, on a hidden warship orbiting a dead moon, a creature of another kind watched through its red eyes. It belonged to the Dravari Dominion, the alien empire that once nearly wiped out humanity. "Commander Eric Vale," the creature hissed. "The ghost returns." The Dravari thought humans were finished centuries ago. But now, this signal, it was dangerous. Hope was dangerous. And if the humans united again, the galaxy could burn once more. Eric didn't know he was being watched. He only knew that time was running out. The air systems on Haven 9 were dying, and power was running low. But before he left, he had one last code to send, the coordinates to the homeworld. Not the old Earth, which was destroyed long ago, but a new place. Eden 5, a secret planet once built as humanity's final refuge. He entered the last code. A holographic Earth appeared, glowing faintly. He looked at it, silent. "For them," he said. "For what we were." Then the doors behind him opened with a loud metallic hiss. Eric turned fast, pulling out his blaster. Shadows moved, fast, silent. For a second, he saw the shape of something tall and thin, not human. A sharp metallic sound cut through the air, and the lights went out. The transmission stopped. Far away, across the galaxy, the people who had heard the message suddenly lost connection. Lyra on Irion 3 hit her radio again and again. "No, no, don't fade now," she shouted. But the signal was gone. For a moment, it seemed like nothing had changed. But in the darkness of space, small human ships began to move again. Old fleets were reactivated. Soldiers who had buried their weapons long ago dug them out. Pilots fueled ships that hadn't flown in 100 years. The call had been made. And even if the sender was gone, the message had already done its job. Humanity was waking up. Somewhere, deep in the shadow of the Orion Belt, the Dravari warship changed course. Its commander stared at the map. "Find Haven 9, he ordered coldly. "And end this before it begins." But the galaxy had already begun to stir. And in the silence between the stars, the old war drums of humanity started to beat again. Slow, distant, unstoppable. The silence that followed Haven 9's lights going out was deafening. Commander Eric Vale stumbled through the dark corridors, his blaster in hand, heart pounding. Smoke filled the air, and the metallic taste of burning circuits coated his tongue. The attack had been fast, precise. Whoever or whatever had struck them knew exactly where to hit. Eric ducked behind a console as a shadow flickered past. A hiss echoed through the hall, and the smell of ozone made his eyes water. He realized the intruders were not alone. They were watching, studying, waiting. Every step he took could trigger an ambush. Meanwhile, far across the galaxy, the humans who had received the transmission reacted in different ways. Lyra on Irion, 3 jumped into the cockpit of her old fighter ship, hands trembling. "If this is real, if they are calling us," she whispered to herself, starting the engines. She knew the risk, but the feeling in her chest was impossible to ignore. She had to answer the call. On another world, hidden in the ice plains of Navara, 7, a small band of humans loaded weapons onto ancient transports. They had survived wars, plagues, and betrayals, but the message had reignited something deep inside them, a memory of what it meant to be human, to fight together, to protect one another. For the first time in decades, they moved as one, silently, carefully, toward the signal source. Back on Haven 9, Eric reached the main atrium, where the central comms hub had been destroyed. Sparks flew from exposed wires, and alarms were still ringing faintly. He paused, listening. There was a sound, faint but unmistakable, movement above, on the upper decks. Something large, deliberate, and dangerous. He climbed the narrow maintenance ladder, every muscle tense. When he reached the top, he froze. The shadow moved again, slower this time, almost stalking him. Its form was humanoid, but taller, leaner, with glowing red eyes. Eric's mind raced. He had read reports of the Dravari in his early training, but never seen one up close. They were the perfect soldiers, engineered for war, relentless and intelligent. And now, it seemed, they had come to Haven 9 personally. Eric gritted his teeth. "They won't stop us," he muttered. "Not now." He activated a small device on his wrist, sending a distress signal across the galaxy. Not a normal call, but a coded beacon meant only for humans. It carried the final coordinates to Eden 5, the secret planet. Whoever survived would know where to go. As he ran toward the escape pods, he could hear the Dravari moving behind him, the faint scraping of claws against metal. He knew there was no way he could fight them all. The only hope was to survive and deliver the message. Elsewhere, humans responded without knowing why. Ships that had been idle for centuries roared to life. Pilots who had never flown in years climbed into cockpits. Soldiers gathered weapons from abandoned armories. A quiet, unstoppable energy began to flow through them, a collective memory, a shared purpose. Humanity was waking. Lyra's ship shot through the asteroid fields of Irion 3, her engines glowing like fire in the darkness. She was not alone. From hidden hangars and repair docks, other human ships joined her, each one answering the same call. Some were fighters, others cargo haulers converted into war vessels, and a few were simple shuttles carrying families and supplies. The fleet was ragged, but alive. Back on Haven 9, Eric reached the last escape pod, sliding inside just as the Dravari reached the atrium. Sparks erupted from the console, and the station shook violently. He pressed the launch button. The pod rocketed into space, just barely escaping the station's destruction. Behind him, the red eyes of the Dravari glared through the observation window. Somewhere, deep in the shadows of the galaxy, a Dravari warship received the report. Their enemy was alive. Humans were gathering. And the Dominion could not allow it. Arek's pod drifted into the void. He stared out at the distant stars, feeling a mix of fear and hope. The galaxy was dangerous, unforgiving, and full of enemies, but humanity had survived before. And now, for the first time in 1,000 years, humans were uniting. The fleet of human ships slowly began to form, converging silently from scattered worlds. They did not know who would lead them or what awaited them at Eden 5, but the instinct to survive, to fight, to reclaim what had been lost, was stronger than ever. Far away, on a barren moon, a lone Dravari soldier whispered into a communicator. "They are moving," he said. "The humans. They are coming together. Prepare for war." The galaxy had shifted. The long silence of humanity was over. And in the darkness, the first fires of a new war, or a new beginning, began to burn. The human fleet moved like a quiet storm across the black expanse of space. Stars streaked past as ships, old and new, gathered from every corner of the galaxy. Lyra's fighter led a small formation, her hands steady on the controls, though her heart beat fast. She had never flown in combat before, yet she felt a strange certainty, as if the galaxy itself had whispered that this was their moment. Commander Arik Vale drifted in the pod, watching the distant glow of the fleet. The beacon he had sent from Haven 9 had reached them all, awakening something older than memory. He clenched his fists. This was no longer just survival. This was the beginning of humanity's return. But the Dravari were not idle. Deep in a hidden nebula, the alien warship loomed, dark and menacing. Its hull was covered in jagged armor plating that shimmered like black glass. The commander of the ship, a tall creature with eyes like molten metal, studied the fleet through the long-range scanners. Every ship, every pilot, every soldier was noted, catalogued, and analyzed. "They move too quickly," the commander hissed. "Humans should not exist. They are reckless and dangerous. Prepare interceptors. Do not let them reach Eden 5. The first clash came without warning. A squadron of sleek Dravari fighters emerged from the nebula like shadows. Lyra and her group were the first to see them, the red glint of alien engines cutting through the darkness. "Enemy ships ahead. Brace for attack," Lyra shouted over the comms. The humans reacted instinctively. Pilots who had not flown in decades executed sharp maneuvers, dodging plasma blasts that lit the void like fireworks. Cargo haulers and old transports fired whatever weapons they had, cannons, missiles, even improvised turrets, while small fighters darted around, taking advantage of their numbers. Arik, still in the pod, activated its concealed systems. Though designed for escape, the pod had a hidden EMP pulse. He fired it toward the Dravari fighters. Several ships faltered, their systems briefly disabled, giving the human fleet precious seconds. But it was only the beginning. The Dravari were relentless. They adapted quickly, their attacks coordinated, precise. One by one, human ships took damage, engines flaring, shields failing. Lyra saw her friend's fighter explode in a blaze of blue fire, and for a moment, doubt crept into her mind. Could humanity really survive after 1,000 years of war and exile? Then something remarkable happened. From hidden sectors across the galaxy, more human ships arrived. Scattered survivors, hearing the call, joined the fleet. Old pilots, young recruits, even war machines left in storage bays powered up and joined the fight. The humans began to overwhelm the Dravari with sheer numbers and unpredictability. They moved with unity, instinct, and courage that the aliens could not anticipate. Arik's pod made its way to the center of the fleet. He transmitted a simple command: regroup at coordinates Eden 5. Do not fight unless necessary. Preserve life. The message spread instantly. Humans who had barely known each other now moved as one. Even in the chaos of battle, they followed a single purpose: survive, unite, reach Eden 5. Meanwhile, Lyra fought her way through the Dravari lines, dodging plasma bursts and returning fire. Her ship shook under each hit, but her hands never wavered. She realized that this battle was more than survival. It was a declaration. Humanity would not be extinguished. They would rise, together, stronger than any alien empire had imagined. Above the combat, in the dark void near Haven 9's remains, the Dravari commander made a decision. Bring the fleet forward. Cut them off. No mercy. Humanity must die before it regains strength. But the humans had already learned something the Dravari had forgotten long ago. Fear was no longer their master. Courage, hope, and unity guided them. Each ship, each pilot, each soldier acted with instinctive coordination. The Dravari were strong, but they had never faced humans as one. The battle raged, light exploding against darkness, metal clashing with fire. And somewhere, hidden in the middle of the fleet, Eric smiled grimly. They are coming, he said. And when they reach Eden 5, everything will change. But the Dravari were cunning. From behind the fleet, a massive warship emerged, hidden until now. Its weapons glowed with deadly energy. The humans had no time to react. One shot could destroy the center of their formation, shattering the fleet before it could reach safety. Lyra saw it too late. She shouted a warning, but the voice barely carried. The Dravari warship fired. A beam of concentrated energy ripped through space, heading straight for the human fleet's core. And then, silence. The screen on her cockpit went black. Alarms blared. Ships tumbled out of formation. Fear gripped every human pilot. For a moment, it seemed like the end. But deep in her chest, Lyra felt it again, that spark. Humanity refused to die. She gritted her teeth, her hands steady, and prepared to fight. If they survived this, nothing could stop them from uniting the galaxy. The war was far from over. The journey to Eden 5 had just begun. The human fleet was in chaos. The massive Dravari warship had struck with devastating precision, cutting through the center of their formation. Ships tumbled like leaves in a storm, explosions scattering debris into the black void. Pilots shouted over the comms, but the noise was overwhelming. Panic threatened to take hold. Lyra's fighter spun violently as her shields flickered. Her heart raced, but she forced herself to focus. Around her, other ships were falling. The bright streaks of energy from the Dravari cannons painted the darkness like fire, relentless and cruel. One by one, the human fleet was being broken apart. Stay in formation. Eric's voice echoed through the remaining comm channels. Though trapped in his pod, he commanded with calm authority. Do not scatter. Protect Eden 5's coordinates at all costs. We will survive. Even in the chaos, a strange order emerged. Pilots who had never flown together instinctively adjusted their positions. Transport ships formed defensive lines. Fighters weaved through the attacks, drawing fire away from the slower vessels. Humanity was small against the Dravari, but they refused to die quietly. Then came the first major loss. A massive transport carrying hundreds of civilians exploded in a brilliant flash, debris scattering across space. Silence followed for a heartbeat, and then anger. The humans' fear transformed into determination. They were no longer fleeing, they were fighting to survive and protect one another. Among the chaos, Lyra noticed something unusual. From the shadows of the battle, a lone ship moved differently. Its design was unlike anything she had seen, sleek, fast, almost organic in appearance. It avoided attacks with unnatural precision, and its weapons struck the Dravari with accuracy no human pilot could match. Curiosity overpowered caution. Lyra veered toward the mysterious ship, dodging debris and fire. As she drew closer, she realized it was not an enemy. It was helping them. With every shot, the Dravari warship's forces faltered. The alien attackers, trained and ruthless, were suddenly on the defensive. "Who are you?" she muttered under her breath. There was no response, only the coordinated movements of the strange ally. Eric, observing from his pod, scanned the unknown ship. The readings were puzzling. Advanced technology, older than any human design, yet clearly aligned with their goal. Could it be, he whispered, a remnant of the ancients? Meanwhile, the Dravari commander's fury grew. They had expected humans to scatter, to panic, to be weak. Instead, they were organized, resilient, and now aided by an unknown force. The aliens' red eyes burned with hatred. "Eliminate it," the commander ordered, pointing to the mysterious ship. "No interference can be allowed." The mysterious ally moved with fluid grace, striking the Dravari ships with calculated precision. Each attack opened small gaps in their formations, allowing humans to regroup. Lyra's hope surged. Perhaps humanity was not alone in this fight. Perhaps the galaxy held allies waiting in the shadows, ready to aid them when the time was right. But the battle was far from over. Dravari reinforcements were approaching from a hidden warp point, faster and more numerous than the humans could handle. The fleet braced, shields shimmering, engines straining. Lyra glanced around at the remaining ships. Some were damaged, others barely functional, yet each pilot's eyes burned with determination. Eric knew the real test was coming. Eden, 5 was still far away, and if they lost too many ships now, the mission would fail before it began. He tapped into his pod's communications, sending a clear, concise message: survive. Fight. Trust in each other. Eden, 5 must be reached. Humanity depends on it. In the darkness, as explosions lit the void in intermittent flashes, Lyra tightened her grip on the controls. She had lost friends, seen death, and faced despair, yet the fire inside her would not be extinguished. Humanity was more than ships and weapons. It was courage, will, and unity. Suddenly, the Dravari warship fired a massive energy beam at the center of the fleet. Pilots screamed as ships were torn apart in bursts of light. Lyra's fighter shook violently, alarms blaring. In that instant, the mysterious ally intercepted the beam with a blinding pulse, saving dozens of ships from destruction. The Dravari faltered, their strategy disrupted. Eric's voice came over the comms again, steady and commanding. "Move. Now. Form a corridor to Eden, 5. Every second counts." The humans responded, following the path created by the mysterious ship. The fleet, though battered, began moving in unison, a river of light cutting through the void. Hope was fragile, but it existed. The humans were alive, and they were moving toward their destination, toward a chance to reclaim their future. Yet, even as they advanced, danger loomed. The Dravari warship, though damaged, remained in pursuit, and more reinforcements were approaching. Eric knew the battle was far from over. Humanity's path to Eden, 5 would be littered with peril, loss, and sacrifice. But for the first time in centuries, hope burned brighter than fear. And somewhere, hidden in the shadows of space, the mysterious ally moved silently, ensuring that humanity's journey had a chance to continue. The war was only beginning, but the spark of a new era had been ignited. The fleet moved steadily toward Eden 5, but the calm was deceptive. The humans had survived the first battle, but every ship carried the scars of the encounter. Hulls were torn, engines burned, and dozens of brave pilots were gone. Silence had returned, but it was heavy with tension. Every captain knew the Dravari were regrouping, and the next strike would be worse. Lyra floated in the cockpit of her fighter, staring at the stars streaking past. The mysterious ally had saved them, but no one knew who, or what, it was. Its actions were precise, almost mechanical, yet there was a strange awareness in its movements. Some whispered it was a remnant of the ancients, a race that had vanished long before humans spread across the stars. Others feared it might have its own agenda. Lyra didn't know what to believe, but she trusted it, because it had saved her life. Commander Eric Vale studied the fleet's status reports. Communications were patchy, supplies were low, and morale was fragile. He could feel the weight of leadership pressing down on him. Every decision could mean life or death. Every choice would shape the future of humanity. He knew the Dravari would not stop until humans were wiped out, or enslaved. Eden, 5 had to be reached. It was the last chance for a united humanity. Then the betrayal came. One of the human captains, a man named Soren Kale, sent a covert message through a hidden channel. He claimed that Eden 5 was a trap, that Eric was leading them into a Dravari ambush. Fear spread like wildfire. Some ships hesitated, turning away from the fleet. Others slowed, unsure of what to do. The fragile unity of humanity trembled under the weight of doubt. Eric's voice cracked through the comms, firm and commanding. Do not listen to whispers. We are one fleet. One purpose. Eden 5 is real, and it is our last hope. Trust in each other. Trust in humanity. But the seeds of doubt had already taken root. A small squadron of ships broke formation, disappearing into a nearby asteroid belt. Eric knew it was only a matter of time before Soren's betrayal spread further. Meanwhile, the Dravari warship was waiting, hiding near the edge of a dark nebula. Sensors had picked up the moment of hesitation in the human fleet. The aliens did not waste time. With precise calculations, they launched an attack, hitting the scattered ships with deadly accuracy. Explosions tore through space, sending debris tumbling like falling stars. Lyra's fighter shook violently. She watched as friends were destroyed before her eyes. Her heart pounded, but she refused to flee. She maneuvered through the chaos, helping those she could, dodging blasts, returning fire. Humanity could not die today, not after 1,000 years of struggle. In the middle of the battle, the mysterious ally appeared again. It struck at the Dravari with swift, deliberate attacks, giving the humans precious time to regroup. Its glowing hull reflected the energy blasts like liquid silver. Lyra caught sight of it briefly and realized it was not only fighting for humanity, it was protecting the fleet, coordinating movements as if it could predict the Dravari's strategy. Eric knew they needed a plan. From his pod, he issued a bold command: regroup at the inner asteroid field. We will use it as cover and hit them from all sides. Focus fire on the warship. It must be disabled before it destroys more of us. The humans obeyed, moving as one despite fear and betrayal. Lyra followed, weaving her fighter through the jagged rocks. The Dravari fired relentlessly, but the asteroid field gave the humans a temporary advantage. They ducked behind massive rocks, striking the alien warship with concentrated fire whenever it exposed a weak point. Even in the chaos, the betrayal of Soren Kale lingered. Some ships, influenced by his fear, hesitated to attack. Eric knew that internal division could be worse than the enemy itself. He activated a fleet-wide broadcast, addressing every human ship. We are stronger together than apart. No whisper of doubt can stop humanity. Fight with me. Fight for Eden 5. His words ignited a spark. Hesitant pilots regained their courage, forming a unified front. Lyra saw the energy in their eyes, the determination that no Dravari could crush. Even though the cost was high, humanity refused to surrender. The mysterious ally moved in perfect synchronization, striking the Dravari warship's engines. Sparks and fire erupted as the massive ship staggered. Lyra fired alongside it, her shots precise, her movements guided by instinct and courage. For a moment, it seemed victory might be possible. But the Dravari commander, furious and cunning, activated a hidden weapon, a pulse that could disable multiple human ships at once. Lyra felt her systems flicker. Shields dropped. Engines stalled. Around her, ships went dark, drifting helplessly. The battle was far from over. Eden 5 still awaited, but the cost of reaching it was becoming painfully clear. Humanity was united in spirit, but survival demanded sacrifice. And as the human fleet struggled to overcome both betrayal and the relentless alien warship, a chilling thought spread among the pilots. Victory would not come easily. The galaxy watched silently. The humans were moving forward, but the shadows of war loomed large. The journey to Eden 5 had been long, grueling, and costly. The human fleet was battered, many ships heavily damaged or destroyed, and the losses weighed heavily on every pilot and soldier. Yet the sight of Eden 5 rising from the darkness of space gave them a glimmer of hope. The planet's surface glowed with life. Forests, oceans, and vast plains stretching as far as the eye could see. For the first time in centuries, humanity had a chance to rebuild. Commander Eric Vale stared at the planet, his face pale but resolute. "This is it," he said softly. "Our new home. The last chance for humanity to rise again." Lyra guided her fighter down through the thick clouds, following the narrow corridors of the fleet. Ships descended carefully, avoiding the jagged mountain ranges and violent storms that raged across Eden V's atmosphere. Even though the planet seemed beautiful from space, the landing would not be simple. Eden V was untamed, wild, and untested by human hands. As the first transports touched down on the plains, humans spilled out, their eyes wide with awe. Children, once hidden in cramped ships, ran across the open fields. Soldiers set up perimeter defenses, wary of threats both alien and natural. Engineers began surveying the land for resources. Humanity had survived the stars, but now they had to survive the planet itself. But Eden V was not empty. From the forests came strange movements. Large creatures with shimmering scales and glowing eyes observed the humans from the shadows. Birds larger than any known species circled overhead, their cries echoing across the plains. The humans had expected isolation, but they quickly realized they were not alone. Eric and Lyra walked across the landing zone, meeting the surviving captains and pilots. "We must organize quickly," Eric said. "Eden V is beautiful, yes, but beauty does not protect us. We need settlements, defenses, and communication networks. We cannot afford mistakes." Suddenly, a warning signal blared. A group of scouts had encountered something moving rapidly in the forests, machines unlike anything they had seen, sleek and silent. The mysterious ally that had protected the fleet appeared again, hovering above the landing zone. Its glowing form cast light across the plains as it scanned the approaching machines. "They're not Dravari," Eric observed. "But they are intelligent. And hostile." Lyra tightened her grip on her blaster. The fleet had fought to reach Eden V, but now the real challenge had begun. Survival would not be easy on this planet, no matter how beautiful it seemed. Meanwhile, deep in the mountains, Soren Kale watched the land below from his hidden ship. His betrayal had not gone unnoticed, but he had escaped the fleet's command. He muttered to himself, "Let them struggle. Let them fight. Eden V will be mine." His eyes glinted with greed and ambition. Humanity's unity had its cracks, and he intended to exploit them. Back at the landing zone, the alien machines advanced, moving with precision and coordination. Lyra, Eric, and the other pilots fought bravely, but their numbers were small. The mysterious ally moved alongside them, striking with speed and intelligence, protecting the humans while giving them time to regroup. Eric realized something crucial. Eden V could become humanity's sanctuary, but only if they learned to fight together on land as they had in space. He issued orders to train quickly, to understand the environment, and to prepare for battles that were not just against aliens, but against nature itself. As the sun set on the first day, the humans lit fires across the landing zone, signaling both hope and defiance. They had survived the stars, fought betrayals, and evaded extinction. Yet the galaxy remained dangerous, and Eden V's secrets were only beginning to reveal themselves. In the shadows of the forests, the alien machines paused. They were intelligent, perhaps scouts for a larger force, perhaps guardians of the planet. Whatever the case, humanity had been seen, and Eden V was no longer untouched. Eric looked up at the sky, stars twinkling faintly above the planet's atmosphere. "We are here," he said. "But the fight is far from over. Humanity must rise, and rise together. Only then will we survive, and only then will we unite the galaxy." Lyra stood beside him, her eyes reflecting both fear and determination. She had seen death in space, betrayal among humans, and relentless enemies in the void. But she had never felt a fire like this, the fire of hope, of purpose, and of unity. Eden V was the beginning, not the end. And in the darkness beyond the forests, more watchers stirred. Machines, creatures, and perhaps even Dravari scouts lingered, waiting. Humanity had reached the planet, but the true test of their strength, courage, and unity was just beginning. The age of humans had a chance to rise again, but Eden 5 would demand everything they had to give. The sun rose over Eden 5, casting golden light across the plains where humanity had begun to settle. The fleet was scattered among the forests and hills, slowly forming colonies and defenses. For the first time in 1,000 years, humans had a place to call home. But peace was fragile. Shadows moved in the distance, alien machines, remnants of the Dravari, and those who betrayed humanity from within. Commander Eric Vale stood on a ridge overlooking the main settlement. Beside him, Lyra scanned the forests with her binoculars, alert for any movement. "We've made it this far," Eric said quietly. "But the galaxy will not leave us alone. Eden 5 is ours, only if we fight for it." A sudden alarm rang across the colony. Scouts had discovered a massive Dravari force approaching from the northern mountains. Their numbers dwarfed the humans' defenses, and even with the mysterious ally by their side, the humans faced annihilation if they could not act quickly. Eric gathered the leaders of the fleet. "We divide our forces. The Dravari will come, but we will hold them here. Lyra, lead the strike team. Use everything we have. This is our home now, and no one will take it." Lyra's fighter squadron roared into the sky, engines blazing. Below, soldiers took positions along the ridges, and engineers activated defensive turrets salvaged from old ships. The humans were outnumbered, but they fought with the fire of survivors, of a species that had endured 1,000 years of war. The Dravari advanced, their war cries echoing across the plains. The humans held their ground, and the battle began. Explosions rocked the land. Energy beams and projectiles tore through the air. Lyra dodged, fired, and struck with precision. Each human pilot moved in coordination with a mysterious ally, whose glowing hull struck fear into the Dravari as effectively as any human weapon. Amid the chaos, Soren Kale revealed himself. He led a small faction that had broken away, hoping to seize control of Eden 5 for himself. His betrayal threatened to divide humanity at the moment they needed unity most. Soldiers hesitated, unsure whether to obey the fleet or his whispered promises. Eric acted quickly. He activated the comm system across all ships and positions. "Humanity stands together. Eden 5 is not for the weak or the selfish. Fight for your home, for your future." His words ignited courage. The soldiers rallied, firing at Kale's faction and forcing them to retreat into the shadows. Betrayal had been confronted, and unity had triumphed. Meanwhile, the mysterious ally moved to the front lines, striking at the Dravari flagship. Sparks and energy erupted as its attacks tore through the alien ship's defenses. Lyra followed, coordinating with the fleet. Together, humans and their unexpected companion pushed back the Dravari. Hours passed, the sun setting again as smoke and fire filled the plains. The humans had suffered losses, but their spirit remained unbroken. The Dravari, realizing the humans' resilience and unity, began to retreat. Their commander, furious and defeated, swore silently that humanity would not survive the next encounter, but he underestimated what he had just witnessed. Eric and Lyra stood on the ridge as the dust settled. Ships returned from battle, battered but intact. Pilots and soldiers cheered quietly. Humanity had defended Eden 5, and for the first time, the galaxy saw that humans were not to be underestimated. Eric looked at the horizon. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The galaxy is vast, and our enemies are many. But if we stay united, nothing can destroy us. Eden 5 will be the spark that ignites humanity's rise." Lyra smiled, exhaustion in her eyes but pride in her heart. "We survived space, betrayal, and war. Now we survive this planet. Together." The mysterious ally hovered nearby, silent but vigilant. Its purpose seemed aligned with humanity, yet no one knew its true origin. Some wondered if it had always been waiting for the humans to return to the galaxy, to prove themselves worthy. Whatever the case, it had chosen their side, and that choice would make all the difference. In the days that followed, humans began building settlements, exploring the forests, and preparing for future battles. Dravari scouts still lurked in the shadows, and the galaxy remained a dangerous place, but humanity had proven its strength. They had survived 1,000 years of war, overcome betrayal, and united in a way no other species could. Eric raised his hand toward the sky, where stars gleamed like distant beacons. The galaxy is ours to reclaim. Not through conquest, but through unity, courage, and strength. Humanity will rise again. And as the stars shone over Eden 5, a new era began. One where humans were no longer scattered, no longer hunted, but a force that would unite the galaxy. Not through fear, but through determination, hope, and the unbreakable spirit of a species that refused to die. The age of humanity had truly begun.